What a time to be a Celtic supporter. You can feel it in every corner of Glasgow right now. The buzz, the excitement, the sense that something special might just be starting to build again at Celtic Park. The energy that had gone quiet over the last few months has roared back to life, and it's hard not to get swept up in it. You look at the players, you listen to the crowd, and suddenly everything feels alive again. There's that unmistakable sound of belief returning. It's not just about one victory. It's about what that victory represents. It's about a shift in spirit, a reminder of what this club is really about. When Martin O'Neill walked back through those doors, it felt like the beginning of a new chapter that also somehow brought back a piece of our past. The man who once embodied Celtic's fight and pride has managed to rekindle that exact same fire. You can see it in the players' faces, you can hear it in the songs ringing out from the stands, and you can feel it in the way the team plays. Fearless, aggressive, and united. There's something poetic about it, really. After weeks of uncertainty, doubt, and frustration, suddenly everything feels simpler. It's Celtic being Celtic again, a team that plays for the badge, a crowd that roars with every tackle, every goal, every moment that matters. Now, it's not like anyone's forgotten what came before. There's gratitude for the trophies, the doubles, the moments of brilliance we've had over the last few years. But deep down, everyone could sense that the spark had started to fade. Football has this way of letting you know when change is due, even before the first whistle. The energy dips, the connection breaks, and slowly the magic slips away. That's what was happening before Martin returned. And suddenly, almost overnight, the whole place feels reconnected. The players look sharper, the football's got purpose again, and the support feels like one big heartbeat. It's not about rewriting history or disrespecting what came before. It's just that sometimes, for the good of the club, a change has to happen. That's football. You don't dwell on what might have been. You focus on what's next. And right now, what's next looks promising. The way Celtic approached that derby, relentless, disciplined, confident, it was a reflection of a team that had rediscovered its identity. Under Martin O'Neill, there's belief again. There's joy. There's togetherness. And that brings us to the big question that every fan's been debating since the final whistle. Should Martin stay in charge for the League Cup final? It's a tough one. On one hand, sentimentality can be dangerous in football. You don't want to make emotional decisions that come back to haunt you later. On the other, there's something undeniably powerful about momentum, and right now, Celtic have got it. The fans adore him, the players clearly respond to him, and the results speak for themselves. Look, nobody's pretending that Martin's going to be here for the next 5 years. The man himself knows that. At 73, he's not in this for a long-term rebuild. But maybe, just maybe, he's exactly what the club needs right now. A steady hand, a motivator, someone who can remind everyone what it means to wear the shirt. Sometimes football isn't about long-term planning or data-driven decision-making. Sometimes it's about passion. It's about energy. It's about believing that something special can happen, even if it's just for one more cup run. There's a purity in what's happening at Celtic right now. It's the kind of moment supporters live for, the unexpected resurgence, the sense that everyone's pulling in the same direction. That was one of the first things Martin talked about in his press conference. Unity. Getting everyone rowing the boat the same way. And it sounds simple, but it's massive. You can't win anything meaningful without that shared focus. You can have the best tactics, the best players, but if the spirit's missing, you're done. Martin knows that better than anyone, and that's why fans trust him. Still, the board has decisions to make. They'll be thinking about the long-term picture, about the next permanent manager, about who can lead Celtic into the next few years. But while they're weighing up those options, Martin's presence gives the club breathing space. It's a rare thing in football to have someone step in and immediately steady the ship, but that's exactly what he's done. And let's be honest, seeing him on the touchline again, tracksuit on, urging the lads forward, it just feels right. It feels like Celtic again. There's been a lot of chatter online, some saying that giving him charge for the League Cup final would be a mistake, others insisting he's earned it. Truth is, both sides have a point. Football's not black and white, and sometimes there's no right answer. But what's undeniable is that the mood has changed completely since he came back. Celtic Park is buzzing again, the fans are smiling again, and even the players who were struggling for confidence suddenly look reborn. One of the standout moments from that derby win was Callum Osman's goal. The young lad's first for the club in a semi-final against Rangers of all teams. What a way to announce yourself. You could see how much it meant to him, to the fans, to everyone. And that's another example of the impact Martin's had. Osman talked after the game about how from day one, Martin made him feel valued. Told him he believed in him. Told him the staff believed in him. Sometimes that's all a player needs. One person to show faith. One person to give them a chance. Suddenly, the confidence flows, and you've got a new star in the making. It's these little stories, these small moments, that show what's really happening inside the club right now. It's not just tactics or formations, it's belief. It's leadership. It's about restoring the culture, the standards, the pride in pulling on that green and white shirt. And that's why supporters are so emotionally tied to this situation. They can feel it. Celtic's heartbeat is strong again, and they don't want that to fade. But of course, there's football to be played. The League Cup final is still weeks away, and a lot can happen between now and then. It's easy to get carried away in the euphoria of a big derby win, to start dreaming of lifting another trophy. But football has a funny way of humbling you when you least expect it. That's why, for now, it's probably wise to just enjoy the moment. Let the team play, let the story unfold, and let the board take their time to make the right call. Martin himself has said he's got no idea what's coming next. He's open to discussions, but he's not expecting anything. You can tell he's just enjoying being back on the touchline, enjoying working with the players, enjoying being part of the club again. And maybe that's enough for now. Maybe Celtic don't need to rush into anything. If the right long-term manager isn't available yet, keeping Martin until the end of the season wouldn't be the worst idea. He's proven that he can handle the pressure, motivate the squad, and deliver results. For now, though, it's all about momentum. Celtic have got their swagger back, the fans have got their voice back, and the team's playing like a unit again. It's the kind of atmosphere that reminds you why you fell in love with football in the first place. The singing, the drama, the joy, it's all there. And for the first time in a long time, it feels like Celtic are moving in the right direction. The dust may have settled after the derby, but the buzz hasn't faded one bit. Everywhere you go, people are still talking about Celtic. It's in the pubs, on the buses, in the offices. Everyone's got an opinion on what comes next. That's what happens when you mix hope with uncertainty. The excitement is there, but so is that nagging question. What now? What happens if the form continues, if the team keeps playing like this? Does Martin stay? Does someone else come in? It's the classic Celtic dilemma. We can never just win quietly. Every victory comes with a full-blown debate about what it means for the future. But that's what makes it special. That's what makes this club different. If you were inside Hampton that day, you could feel something shift. It wasn't just joy, it was relief. You could see people smiling again, people who had been frustrated for months, now singing their hearts out. It felt like a release, like a weight had been lifted from the shoulders of every supporter in the stadium. The chants, the roars, the sea of green and white scarves, it all meant more this time. It wasn't just about beating Rangers, it was about feeling alive again. That's the thing about Celtic, it's never just football. It's an emotion that seeps into every part of life, and when it's good, it lifts you higher than anything else. Martin O'Neill gets that. He always has. Maybe that's why there's such a strong connection between him and the fans. It's not just nostalgia, though there's plenty of that. It's respect. People trust him because they know he understands the fabric of the club, the expectations, the passion, the pressure. He's been through it all before. And when you see him on the sidelines now, urging the players on, it's like time has folded in on itself. You get flashes of the old days, of the great nights in Europe, of the roar of Celtic Park when his teams went toe-to-toe with anyone. But football doesn't stop for sentiment, and that's the tricky part. The board can't afford to make emotional decisions. They've got to think about the next few years, about where the club wants to go. Celtic's ambitions don't stop with one cup or one good run of form. The goal is always dominance, to build something that lasts, that can compete in Europe and continue to dominate domestically. And to do that, you need a plan. You need structure, stability, and a manager who's ready to commit to the long haul. That's where the tension lies. On one hand, you've got the pure, emotional pull of seeing Martin lead the team out for another final, one more shot at glory. On the other, you've got the pragmatic voice in your head saying it's time to think long-term, to bring in someone who can shape the next generation. The problem is, Football rarely gives you time to make those choices in peace. Every result, every goal, every missed chance shifts the mood. One week, everyone's dreaming. The next week, everyone's demanding answers. And yet, in this moment, it's hard not to be swept up in the dream. The players are responding to him in a way we haven't seen for a while. You can tell by the way they celebrate together, the way they press, the way they fight for every ball. It's not just about tactics, it's about attitude. Martin has given them that edge again, that belief that they can go toe-to-toe with anyone. Players like Callum Osman are proof of that. A young lad who looked on the fringes of the squad not long ago is now playing like he belongs on the big stage. It's no coincidence. Confidence is everything in football, and when a manager tells you he believes in you, it can change everything. Osman's goal was more than just a moment in a match. It was a symbol, a reminder that Celtic's strength has always been about giving chances to players who are ready to fight for the badge. And seeing that passion come through again has reignited something in the fan base. The applause he got as he came off said it all. People love to see one of their own, or someone who plays as if he is, taking his chance. That's what connects the stands to the pitch. That's what creates that unstoppable energy inside the stadium. Of course, no Celtic story is complete without a bit of controversy. The reaction from across the city has been, well, predictable. Complaints, outrage, calls to the SFA, the whole lot. It's almost part of the ritual at this point. Anytime Celtic win a big game, someone has to go digging for excuses. But honestly, it's exhausting. Referees make mistakes. Everyone knows that. Sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. To keep dragging it out days later just kills the joy of the game. You can't change what's happened, so why waste the energy? The truth is, the better team won. Celtic earned it. The effort, the mentality, the drive, it was all there. And when you win fair and square, there's no need to apologize for it. Let the noise come from elsewhere. The focus now should be on what's ahead. There's European football on the horizon, the League Cup final in sight, and a real opportunity to build momentum that could carry the team through the rest of the season. That's why Martin's presence matters so much. He's brought calm, but he's also brought fire. It's a balance that Celtic desperately needed. You can tell the players are enjoying their football again, and that alone changes everything. When a squad starts playing with joy, with confidence, it becomes contagious. The crowd feels it, the opposition feels it, and suddenly you're watching a team that believes it can win every single match. Still, you can't ignore the elephant in the room. The board's decision is coming, and it's going to shape the rest of the campaign. Whether Martin stays for one more game or one more month, his impact will be remembered. He's reminded everyone what Celtic stands for: pride, passion, unity. And even if a new manager comes in soon, they'll be stepping into a club that feels alive again. That's a massive achievement on its own. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Whispers are swirling through Glasgow's footballing underbelly this week, and they've got the green half of the city buzzing. Word on the street is that Ben DOAK, the young Scottish sensation currently plying his trade down south, could be plotting an audacious return to Celtic. Aye, that's right. The same lad who left Parkhead for Liverpool amid much hype and heartbreak might just be heading home. It's the kind of rumor that sounds too good, or too mad, to be true. But chatter from those in the know suggests that DOAK, despite his promising moments in England, has grown restless with limited opportunities in the Premier League. He's reportedly keen on regular first-team football, and where better to rediscover his spark than the club that made him. Celtic fans, who still remember his electric pace and fearlessness as a teenager, would welcome him back with open arms. Of course, this is Glasgow we're talking about, and nothing stirs the pot quite like a transfer story involving a prodigal son. Some say the Hoops hierarchy have already made discreet inquiries, while others claim it's all smoke with no fire. Still, the mere mention of DOAK's name around Celtic Park has punters dreaming of him tearing down the wing once more, the crowd roaring as he leaves defenders in his wake. Liverpool, for their part, aren't expected to let him go cheaply. The Anfield staff rate him highly, even if his path to the first team has been crowded by world-class competition. But if the lad himself pushes for a move, and there's talk that he's eager for a return to his roots, then the romance of a Celtic comeback might just prove irresistible. And imagine the scenes if he does pull on the green and white again, especially when Celtic meet Rangers at Ibrox. Oh, the headlines write themselves. For now, it's just whispers and nods, but Glasgow thrives on that kind of noise. One thing's certain, if Ben Doak really does reject the Premier League to shine once more at Celtic Park, it won't just be a transfer. It'll be a homecoming for the ages. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.